I want just to share some stories of my life. Please come upwards, please. I hope I am not disturbing any of you. Please come. Let me explain why I did this. Because there are two challenges of the post-lunch sessions, right? Some people get more sharp and more focused, and some of us suffer from postprandial syndromes. So I just to cut short the postprandial syndrome so that we all do justice to all each other's effort. My effort to speak and your effort to listen, right? That's the way the whole thing goes. Though, as the thing gets ready, there's a small challenge, technical challenges in terms of porting, because I have my laptop which has only HDMI port, and the LCD has only the VGA port. So let me place this time, because time is precious. Quick introduction, as has been given. I'm a right through a marketing and salesperson. And the topic, I don't know how Mihir Kumar Kaur gave me today and last week, that you have to share the expectation of pharma industry from a fresh BPharm graduate. And I thought it's quite challenging, because what he explained, that the audience will be the faculties of different colleges. And I said that, well, will my talk will be acceptable to the faculties being a non-BPharm or non-MPharm? Then I said, okay, let me take a try and let me share, instead of presenting some slides and talking through them, let me interact with all of you. What is your expectations? So all of you are BPharm graduates? Right, which year? Which year, ma'am? Third year. So next year, July, you will be graduate, right? And what you are planning to do post that? Okay, so you want to join in QC. Let us not spend time more on that. Anyone who want to volunteer? Sir, with blue shirt. Which year? Which year? First year. Fresh ambitions, fresh dreams, right? What is your ambition? At the end of the graduation, what do you want to do? Okay. Can I explain how I am talking Mihir? Because I don't know how time flies fast. I know me 19 years back when he joined my team as a fresh BPharm graduate, right, from Odisha. And how long these 19 years flew by, and when he became professor and doctorate, I was not aware till a couple of years back. And in one fine morning, he emerged and says, sir, I am now aspiring PhD and I am a professor now, which gave me an immense pleasure to see and find him in that shape. And I am associated with Odisha for quite long, quite close. I learned the definition of life in Odisha. Let me explain. Though basically I am from Kolkata. The reason being that in the 1999 cyclone, I was covering Odisha and I got badly stuck. I was in the Jajpur station for 3 nights, 3 days in the open platform, right? Living on the khichdi and the sabji given by the Marwari Relief Society. The life was in stake. That time, the mobile was not there, and even that would have been with me. It was not working because there was no electricity. And one fine morning, I found a gentleman called Mihir Kumar Kaur appear in their station, and he brought me to his house, gave me shelter, clothing, and food, in spite of his father wasting the total corpse, wasted down the line due to the cyclone. I redefined my life, that how life can be redefined. And those 3 days of boiled egg and just boiled rice taught me many lessons that I am still practicing and trying to practice in the rest of my life. So that's the way my introduction happened with Mihir Kumar Kaur. And today I find him, that is the president of APTICON and giving lectures. It's a very, very exciting moment for me, let me tell you that. And having said that, let me tell you that my life is indebted to his gesture, his upbringing given by his parents, and that's the way my life moved on. Perhaps my life would have been a different direction, or perhaps I would have been not living in this world if that day that event didn't happen. I can't forget that day. So when this invitation came, I accepted the challenges, right? And here I'm taking in form of just a few notes. And the first slide goes like this: why shall I hire you? Why shall I hire you? There's a question that I want to stir up in the mind of the people in the audience, whether one of you are faculty or a student. Why shall I, if I talk to a faculty, I will say, why shall I hire your student? Or any of my question in further presentation, if it goes to a student, it will be a direct question, why shall I hire you? Not because you are BPharm. No, certainly not. When our industry, till now so far, Southeast Asian countries, Cambodia, Burma, African countries, Central Asian countries, Venezuela, Guatemala and all these places, and they are taking BPharm graduates from India and putting them there. So there's a new vertical that came out, right? Okay. But anyways, whether you are BPharm, MPharm, dear faculties, my sincere request will be, put your students in that mode that they can prove at the end of the 4th year that they are different. If they prove this, if they fail to differentiate this simple question, then you are en masse. What I mean by en masse is, you are one among the masses. You are just one among the masses. Then the frustration creeps in. Your jobs get grabbed by an ordinary graduate or even a non-science graduate, then will further demotivate you. That I have spent 4 years, spent so much of money, and this and that and this and that. I didn't got clear the interview. And that chap of the interview was only a 3 years of selling experience. Some of my earlier speakers have already mentioned about it. And I am very glad to find that he has mentioned about it. So the whole structure and transition change happens. That's the way the whole understanding of the life goes, changes happens. Right? So one have to prove different. So let Guide Guru welcome you all for this conference. And it's a fantastic conference. We are part of this history. We are part of the history today. And can any wild guess why we are part of a history? Sir, we are part of a history today. How? So very true. But the only thing that need to be emphasized, this is the first APTICON conference happening in Odisha. Next year it will happen with maybe in a bigger auditorium, with a bigger mass, but first remains first, right? So today, the 19th of March, remains a very historical day for Odisha APTICON chapter. So next year, whether I get invitation or not, I don't know, that depends on Mihir Kumar Kaur. But I hope and wish that we are the first speakers on the first day we spoke, and that will remain a part of the history. So big hands to all of you. We are part of the history. Don't guess who was this handsome gentleman was. It is me only. So that was my brief elaboration that has been given. Okay. Coming to the straight away to the topic, that corporate expectations, and what is the corporate expectation is in terms of present industry expectations from a pharmaceutical industry and institutions. To do this preparation, I have some extensive research for the last 15 days and spoke to different R&D heads, different other verticals, because my strength area was marketing and sales. But I need to carry a lot of inputs, to have a detailed interviews of many of the national companies and multinational companies. What is the expectation from a simple BPharm graduate? From your own vertical, please respond. What do you expect? So my previous speaker has very well spoken and very nicely spoken about certain key areas. There is a match, there's a gap area between the current practical experience and when they enter into the corporate world, they find a different machine, a different environment, and they somehow get stumped. So if a transition happens, there's not going to be any surprise anywhere at any level. So you may not handle that machine, but at least you know the existence of that machine somewhere. So that transition needs to be happen. I think there's not a big uphill task to do that. It's not an uphill task to do that. Only good suggestion came out. I was listening each and every speaker in the morning, and definitely that can be done if the trainers go to different industries, take a short course training, come back with all the photographs of the different machines and all these things, have a practical handhold experience of the running of the machine, and they teach the students. It is highly possible. Otherwise, it is a very expensive affair to bring all the students to different industry. And many of the industry will not allow that to happen also. So it will become a very theoretical discussion then. Current industry opinions, practical knowledge and technical skills. First areas of improvement. Second is latest development in pharma industry. Intellectual property rights is going a mass change. And we need to understand what is the recent trends and how the things are happening. Industry-based regulatory needs. My previous speaker has elaborated a lot. So I was telling the few delegates just outside that many of the slides got thundered by the earlier speakers, becomes very challenging to speak in the last, right? Because many of the thoughts already been shared by some others. Trends in the new drug pipelines, latest drug introduction in the globe, and R&D cost returns at the new drugs. These are the basic expectations that any person who appears for the interview, the people who will be taking the interview, the interviewer-interviewee correlation need to be bridged up. And we need to understand that. Current pharmacy curriculum, is there any need to change? Yes. Professor Mohanty in the morning was addressing that. Even Professor learned and respected C.K. Kokate also mentioned about that. We change our curriculum every 10 years, where pharma industry is getting transition and change every 3 months. So it's a huge mismatch of 10 years versus every 3 months. One need to understand that very sensitively. No, I understand every 3 months curriculum can't be changed. But at least some sort of rhythmic pace adherence should be there. That one cannot be once in 10 years where the industry is changing very fast. I really mean extremely fast, right? Even a 2 crores machine becomes obsolete within 6 months. I have seen that to happen in my own assignment. And it was a very huge revenue cost cutting. The many questions get asked, 2 crores a machine doesn't get any result in next 6 months, then who planned this machine first? What can he do? Another upgraded machine appeared, and we need to change. Even the machine is fine, still relevant, but the regulatory process got changed. That's why you have to change certain SOPs. That's why the machine becomes defunct. And overnight, the 2 crores machine becomes defunct. Right? That's the way the industry is pacing up. Right? So we need to have focus, direction, and functioning. These are the 3 areas that we need to understand and coach our students that what we need to be done. Various aspects, this is in the summary. These are the verticals I have researched on in the last 15-20 days to address this today's program. That what is the expectation of API? They said R&D. Formulation, they say R&D. Clinical research, analytical research, quality assurance, industrial regulatory affairs, intellectual property, soft skill developments, brand management, and marketing and sales. Right? These are the areas that have been covered, and it will be each and every particular point will have 1 slide each. 1, API and R&D department expectations. This is a synthetic chemistry including multi-stop synthesis. This is the first expectation. There is the recent trends that are coming up. And as I said, that is not my strength area to explain on, but the faculties will understand how close we are on these following points. Right? This is just a point to note and to ponder upon that how the things are. Modern chromatography, systematic techniques, library designs and diversity analysis, pharmacopoeia elucidation, quantification, structure, activity, relationship, and application of modern NMR techniques. Right? So, dear students, it's not the question that whether college has taught us or not. Am I audible to you? It is not always the responsibility of the college whether they taught me or not. You take a note of the modern findings. You are in the Google era, right? Everything you search on Google, right? Even a spelling also. Keep searching what the recent appearances are happening, whichever stream you want to go. She says that I want to go to productions. Productions going a transition change. And ask questions to your faculties. Sir, I want to know more about on this. Can you please explain? Your faculty may respond it instantly, or he or she may take 2 days time to respond to you back. But have a thorough quality of the discussion. Then the knowledge part grows on both ends. The faculty becomes more aware, and the student also get the required knowledge. So let us stop this blame game that college didn't touch me, or I didn't got taught. No, that cannot happen. Because ultimately it is your career, you have to progress. Blame game happens once you get graduated. Then what happens? Whom will you blame then? Right? You're going to blame your bosses, right? So what you can do? You have to constantly upgrade your knowledge, right? Okay. Formulations, these are the expectations of the formulation department and verticals. The formulation vertical goes like this: discovery research, novel drug delivery system, new formulation development, stability studies and bioequivalence studies, quality management, regulatory management, and disease management and therapeutic basis. They will be asking questions when if you go to appear for the interview on this vertical. Be sure of that. So prepare yourself. Right? Good to have a quick decision in which stream I want to go. Right? Good. Once you freeze it, then on the following slides, on the following points, you study hard. They will not ask 100 questions in interview. They will ask 8 to 10. And your faculty will guide you which are the most common 8 to 10 questions they will ask. Right? Practice those and gather more knowledge. This is not a rocket science, not a big thing I'm talking about. Very small things can be achieved, and it will be achieved, right? Clinical research. These are the following expectations of the clinical research side, and that's the way the training goes. These are the clinical expectations. I don't want to go point by point, but these are the questions, these are the areas that faculties can take a note of it if they are interested on, that whether they are part of the current curriculum, if the tweaks are required, why the tweaks are required, and how the tweaks can be brought in. Correct? Okay. Analytical department, method development of NC India and method analysis for scale-up techniques, Method of validation for production quality, calibration and maintenance of laboratory instruments and records document compiling with GMP and knowledge of implication of GLP. I want to know any of the faculties. Do you think that this is the part of our current curriculum? In masters, not in BPharm. Okay, but do BPharm graduates aspire for this position? No, my question was that whether a BPharm graduate aspire for this position or they wait for the MPharm to complete and then they go for it. But BPharm at the moment they can go. So they have to go for higher studies and then only they can appear. Okay. But in MPharm all the points are covered? Perfect. Okay. Quality assurance expectations. These are the quality assurance expectations. That's the list of the quality expectations that is there. Please take a note whether it is part of it or whether extra something can be given, right, in order to achieve those goals. Correct? For the quality assurance is a big department of any factory. In Cadila Pharma, though Lilly didn't have any factory in India, neither Bristol Myers had, but in Zydus Cadila they have a huge setup in five cities of India. Cadila Pharma also had it. I had opportunity to go to different factories in the capacity of general manager and talk to different quality heads and all. And they aspired to have this sort of expectation from a MPharm graduate or from a pharmacy graduate. Industry regulation affairs expectations. These are the following expectations that is of regulated countries, semi-regulated countries, non-regulated countries, knowledge of pharma developments country-wise, and knowledge of GMP guidelines. As the guidelines are getting changed and every country has their own guidelines, the person need to understand the guidelines, and it is all available on net. Let me tell you. You don't have to purchase a textbook or don't go to the faculties. If you're interested for quality assurance or regulatories, you go to the net, type the name of the country, it will all come out. Only thing that you need to know and understand which country you are looking for. And the understanding of the basic terminology of that particular process. Otherwise, it is very easy to understand. Industry regulatory affairs expectations act as company outlet for regulatory agencies, regulatory interpreter of the company, an interface between company and regulatory agencies. Quite often we hear, right, this company's USFDA has banned that plant. Lupin has lost his Indore plant all of a sudden because of the lack of compliance of the USFDA. Ultimately, you know, some few necks already got rolled because there was a negligence or a gap area in terms of understanding of these regulatories. And that incurs a huge loss. The quantum of loss cannot be counted in terms of thousands or lakhs, in few thousand crores. If a factory of a mass production gets locked and gets defunct for 2.5 years for the lack of or violation of US FDA, many of the small companies' stake becomes viable. The company will not exist. Bigger giants, they somehow can manage with the revenue of the other factories. But if it is a medium player, a small player, it will vanish. They can't absorb that sort of loss. And who was responsible, to be precise? It is for the few people who are responsible for the department and their lack of understanding of it. And they trusted these people. They hired these people with a very high package, with a belief that they know their regulations. And they said, yes, sir, we know. And they failed. The owner of the factory was not responsible. He never claimed that I am a master of regulatory. Right? Okay. So industry regulatory affairs expectation mainly in these areas: R&D, medical services, quality control, marketing, quality assurance, and manufacturing. These are the basic streams that we define grossly from an expectation from a pharma graduate expectations. So intellectual property right, it comes like this, very simplified format: patents, copyright, trademarks, geographical indications, design, integrated circuits, and trade secrets. And finally, every teacher or student need to understand IPR. We all know what is IPR. Right, sir? Check shirt. You know what is IPR? No? Any guess? Next, blue shirt, please. What is IPR? Blue shirt. IPR. Say, I don't know. What's the big shame about it? Many things I don't know. Intellectual property right. Right? आज का बात नहीं भूलोगे. Right? So, anybody ask you IPR, you will say intellectual property right. Okay? And this PG diploma happens in NFDR Bombay. Right? A 3 months diploma course. I'm sorry, sir, maybe 6 months. You may be knowing better. But as far as my knowledge, it is a 3 months PG course that a post-diploma course happens in that NLSR Mumbai. If anybody goes and have a 3 GPA diploma, he will be a master of regulatories in terms of intellectual property right. His CV get enhanced. His CV gets enhanced. I got a diploma in IPR from NLSR Mumbai, right? So they are the authority institutes of the specifics. And lastly on the list, it is irrespective of whatever vertical you cover. It is irrespective of whatever vertical you cover. Whether you want to production, R&D, this you need to have a proper grooming session, right? Many people I have seen in my last 29 years or 3 decades, I don't boast about it, but I should boast. It's not a very common thing. That people have the knowledge. They know the subject. They know the subject. But on the interview board, they can't express. I found 2 brilliant BPharm graduates came to the interview with a round collar t-shirt and a jeans. I told him, sir, I am from rural background. Nobody told me that I have to wear a tie. And to be honest, I don't know how to wear a tie. No, don't laugh. It happens. I'm telling you, it happens. You may be from a very modern college, but many college students doesn't have that sort of visibility and understanding how professionally we should be groomed in order to make yourself presentable in front of the interview board. Many people doesn't understand the basic difference because old days they know the questions in an interview, what is your ambition? And modern days they ask, why do you want to see yourself after 5 years? The question remains the same. He practiced to answer what is the ambition. And here the questionnaire asked him, why do you want to see yourself after 5 years? He couldn't answer because he couldn't get the question properly first. See, small things, but opportunity comes first. That company will not again invite you for another interview. Oh, last time you couldn't understand that question. Okay, next time another chance. No, they won't, unfortunately. So, for any stream what you prefer for, knowledge, I already told enough number of times, there is no space for compromise. But over and above that knowledge, you need to have one layer at least, and that is soft and hard skill knowledge, grooming knowledge, how to clear interview skills knowledge. I am sharing you very quick tips, right? And trust me, 80% possibility that your interview will start from that question, guaranteed. And if I tell it with a lot of confidence what I am sharing now, why don't you practice? Because that will be the first question. And the question will be, any guess? Any guess? Any guess? 80% interview starts with that question. Yes, green shirt. What is your name? No, nobody asked. There's already in the CV. Okay. Your CV is in front of him. Why they will ask you what's your name? Any guess? I'm consciously not looking at the faculties. Ma'am, you are from faculty. My apology. Students, please. My target audience is students first. Yes, any guess? Wild guess. It may be wrong. No problem. Yeah, nobody is watching you. The first question that you can definitely expect, tell me something about yourself. Right? Tell me. And I now faculties are nodding head that their interview also, there was also the first question they got asked. Right? Practice it. I am telling you that will be the first question. Any cricketer batsman, if he hits the first ball with the middle of the bat, now the confidence goes high. If you can answer confidently your first question of the interview, then you start all of a sudden the butterflies goes down. Otherwise, a lot of butterflies in the stomach, right? May I come in बोल के जैसे घुसते हैं अंदर ना, तो all the knowledge goes toss, right? But once you confidently answer the first question, then the nerve settles down. And obviously the second, third, fourth question comes with a lot of punch, a lot of confidence. And then all of a sudden the confidence starts building up from nowhere. And you become a different person altogether. Let me tell you that very frankly. You are completely a different individual. Practice it. Practice it, I'm telling you. Second tips. Mir, I will charge for these free tips. Generally I charge to the colleges. Second tips, it will come. Tell me some few strength areas of yours. Tell me some strength areas of yours. Right? Practice it. इंटरव्यू रूम में बैठ के नया नया स्ट्रेंथ बाहर निकालने का कोशिश मत करना. Practice it, that which were the 3-4 strengths I will be talking about. And prepare one example each against each strength. Many people say honesty, punctuality. These are all evaluative statements, right? Okay, how do you explain that you are honest? Give a short example attached to it that further brings justification of the earlier claim that you have taken. But don't give a big long list of strengths. Do you know why? Do you know why? Long strength पूछा तो खत्म होने का नाम ही नहीं लेता. Everything is strength of mind, right? But wait for a bouncer next. ये तो bouncer था. That is a softball full toss. But be sure next ball will be a Yorker. Next question will be, okay, you have so many strengths, wonderful to find that. Tell me a few about your weaknesses. Thus, stumped. Either you have to say, I have no weaknesses. Absolutely the perfect gentleman of Swami Vivekananda arrived on the planet. Or since you have already told so many strengths, you don't have any weakness to share. Or the skill part is how to present a strength into a weakness and tell weakness as a strength. That is the skill. That is the skill. One need to understand that. So a brilliant student of B.Pharm or M.Pharm, excellent knowledge. In the canteen, he is the best speaker. In the ground, he coaches many students around. This is the way the thing to be done. In the interview board, once the tie gets on and the lights on, the thing gets shaken. My dear request to my faculties, please have some sessions. Give them at least a platform. Have a mocks so that at least they get familiar with these questions and how to respond that. Bring some professionals from outside. Allow them to train them. That will be wonderful. I am telling you. Whoever is convenient for you, get them trained. At least give them a space. Ultimately, our college will also boast, Professor Mohant, if I'm not wrong, he said 3 things. Wonderful learning. First thing was input-based learning, output-based learning, and one is outcome-based learning. Outcome is the topic of mine, but let me go to the output one. Every college boasts how many of their students got placed. Every student, every college, wherever I go. I have 100% placed. And we have fantastic placement infrastructure, this, that. Fine, wonderful, great. But in order to establish that, why need to give the students a better platform so that they become more confident professionals to give an interview? Then a student, the smell actually is coming as a student. But the company aspires to having as a professional is a gap somewhere. At least groom them so that they may not behave as a professional from day one. It's beyond expectation. And the interviewer also doesn't expect that also. They know you are a fresh graduate. But in order to make yourself, as I said in the earlier slide, I am different. You have to be different than him. He has to be different than him. And he has to be different than him. Then only the whole thing works. Right? I think Mia is giving a very loud pledge of vision to me that my time is up. Am I right? And advice to the faculty, workshops, seminars, guest lectures, and visits to the industry. A forceful lacunae are that to be rectified for the effective pharma education. Right? My speaking is going one ahead of the slide, but anyways, that is not the point. And let us remember one thing. I want to just to bridge up the thing. And a lot of lovely quotations goes ahead, but the only thing that I need to talk about is nothing is ever a threat. It is always an opportunity. It is we who convert opportunities into threat and threats into opportunities, right? So I know and I understand, I have covered most of the B.Pharm colleges, not much on Odisha. I interact with principals, faculties of different colleges. They share their concerns and expectations. I share my experience, whatever the way in based of my capacity. But having said that, let me tell you, all of you faculties, hats off to you.